I'm glad to note that audit report 2019-2020 has declared a clean audit report for the just concluded financial year 19-20. And for that, I would like to applaud the board, management, and staff of the National Social Security Fund for efficiently running the organization. I rarely give credit. Even when I was a teacher, I was to score 60, 70. You must have worked extra hard. I rarely give credit, but I think credit is worth to give where it is supposed to be. I really want to congratulate you, Richard, and your team for, I think you are one of the most, under my ministry, one of the most efficiently run institutions. Apart from the other small issue with your deputy, you don't occupy my time to sort out issues. But other institutions, every other day, this is wrong, this day. Oh, so I really want you to keep that spirit. Then you'll make my job as a minister much easier so that I can concentrate on strategic issues. The NSSF Amendment Bill. I have also noted the chairman's request to me concerning the NSSF Amendment Bill that is before Parliament. From here, I'm going to see, before even I got cabinet, I'm going to see the speaker and we harmonize. There are two issues which are still where we have failed to agree. The first issue is the issue of midterm withdrawal. Members of the leaders of the members of NSSF are saying somebody should access of 20% of his or her savings after he has completed 10 years of should we call it subscription? Should we call it subscription? Contribution. On the other hand, we are saying, but what is the core reason? What is the purpose of this contribution? What? And the experts gave me an answer, said, it is to cater for somebody once he has retired. I don't know whether I'm right. Are they right, those people?
You're right.
Yes. The purpose of we putting this arrangement in place and asking employees to kutereka, you know kutereka, to keep, is for you to have something that you can fall back to when you have retired. Energy is not so much, you have no regular income, then you resort to that. You may have seen people who do not subscribe to this kind of schemes when they retire, unless they have really prepared other sources of income. Some people live very miserable life, I won't tell you. I've seen it with among my fellow politicians, and I've seen it even among other people. So we don't want somebody who has been working and earning a decent living. When he's 70, 80, he's just living a miserable life, depending on the children. The children have got their own problems. Where do you have to go to the children? They can give you work assist if they want, but you don't depend on the children. So that is our argument. The purpose of the whole of this scheme, among others, is to make sure that when somebody has retired, he has something he can regularly get. And there is a proposal that if you want a midterm, then just go for a circle. Yes, just go for a circle where you can withdraw as and when you want. That was the argument we had in the State House. But I'm sorry, some of the people, some of our colleagues, particularly some members of parliament, particularly the leaders of the workers, they are saying, even during COVID, you remember during COVID? Sometime when the thing was squeezing us, people said, no, I have got my 20 million shillings. I have my, some do have as far as 100 million. Yeah. Some members have had 100 million. Why should I starve? You give me some of that money so that I don't starve. That's how the whole issue became so alive. So that's the point. If we want money we can access at irregular times, then the best thing is to go in for a circle, because when you get circle, you put your money there. If you want to withdraw it, you withdraw it at any time you want. So that's the one point. The other point is the point of dual reporting. Some people are saying, when the Honorable Janet Mkwaya was still the minister, she came to debate this issue. We know we are the people in charge of labor. If we are in charge of labor, then we should be also involved in reporting and checking. But I said, there is a provision. You have a whole member of, I think the permanent secretary, is it the permanent secretary? And then the members themselves, the owners. Is it 2 members? 4. The members are there. If you want to know what is taking place within the fund, let your permanent secretary tell you, or you send your ideas and thinking, and then it goes to the board sanctions, and then we move. But to have an institution reporting to bosses is extremely dangerous. Even with the owner organization, if now I have to report to another minister, then I have to report to the prime minister, then I have to report to the president, and receive instructions from 3 quarters. You can't do very well. You can't do very well. NSSF, in your terms, is a financial issue. It's not a merely issue of providing a facility for our members to save and then just withdraw. It's a financial issue. What it does within the economy, the economy has a lot of bearings. And I think by constitution, anything to do with the economy and anything to do with funds and money is a prerequisite of the Minister of Finance. So, but I think that to me, I talked to the speaker sometime, I think that one we seem to be agreeing. But it's still stony in the minds of other things, of other people. This bill is a good one for members, as it will usher in the much desired flexibility to provide additional benefits. It will also expand social security coverage. Currently, only 2 million out of 16 million of Ugandan working population have social security coverage of any form. This bill will therefore address this gap by making it mandatory for all employers, including those who are employing less than 5 people, to remit social security contribution to their workers. I think that the people who passed the law, they forgot that even we small employers were as important as big employers. I think they missed that point. You know, now you must have 5, you must have a minimum of 5 workers. Even if we are 2, what's the problem? Maybe it could be the problem would be the administration of, how to get those people. But with the modern technologies, I don't have to come to NCCF to apply for this or to send money. I don't have to do that. Now that the world has become digital, We do everything online. So even if there is somebody, even if now Kasaija, I am employing myself on my farm, I should also save. What's the problem? Is there any problem, Mr. MD?
No.
So, to me, I feel that is a very good development. And of course, the fund will expand. When it expands, more money in the hands of Richard, then they will also, we shall deal with them. You know, government, we borrow quite a bit of that money to run your country. We borrow a bit of that come through some channels which I don't want to disclose. But we don't cheat. We pay back. If we have failed to pay, then you tell me, Minister, you are telling lies. We pay as and when we have agreed to pay back. This bill is also will also spur economic development by increasing the ratio of savings to GDP. Now you know, Ugandans were very poor savers. Are you aware of that? Ugandans were very poor savers of money. We like to live as if tomorrow there is no tomorrow. Luxurious things when it is not necessary. COVID has done a good job as far as I'm concerned on these parties. You spend $500 million shillings on a wedding party of your son. Supposing you gave them 300 million and they say children go and start building a house, would that not be better investment? You find people in the home, everybody has got a car. Living at times beyond people's means because you want to show off that you are a very important person in the village. Therefore, you put up a five-storied houses. So a 2, 3, 5-storied house in the village, whom are you trying to impress? But many Ugandans, I can tell you, do that. You can, if you want to disqualify me to object, I can tell you a number of people, but I don't want to shame them. So, the issue of saving. The more saving, let me tell you a secret. Now let me speak as a Minister of Finance now. If Ugandans who could save, and there is money, Ugandans, we have money, we use the money. Among ourselves, there is money. If we could save, now our savings to GDP is about 20%. If we could save 50%, then you would have solved my problem of not going to queue and be humiliated in certain international organizations because I'm asking money for money. I will just make an arrangement here. I don't have to queue and go to beg Richard here for him to lend me. No. It's a system put in place. We just do the correspondence, and the money comes to the treasury. I find activities. When I have earned money from through whatever means, like a revenue collection, I pay back. It will create our it will strengthen our independence as a country. Savings. Savings. Teach our children to save. Me, you know me, they call me Mukonogamu, and I am Mukonogamu. I don't hesitate on that one, and I don't regret it. I don't curse myself. Me, to spend my money, I first weigh. Where is this money? Is it going to bring back a benefit, or is it not going to bring benefit? Including in the politics. When I'm in the constituency, I don't simply say, as I see some people throwing money, no. You know, my father is the one who taught me this practice. When we were still young, you know, those of people who are more focused than ourselves today. He at the beginning of the year, he had like a small box, and he put a lock. You know, when he would go to work in the shamba and he had sold his coffee, he would pay us 1 shilling. Then he would say, of that 1 shilling, 50 cents in the box. The other 50 cents, you go and eat mandazi, you go and eat kabaragarag, go and do whatever you want. 50. Then it would be opened near to to Christmas or when the new term is beginning. Then he will bring the key, open and say, now you can have this money, go and buy yourself a trouser, or go and buy yourself, no, at that time there were no trousers for us in primary school. Go and buy a new shirt, go and buy a new pair of shorts, using your own savings. Are we teaching our children that way? Answer me. Are we teaching our children to save money? We must save money for the day that things will not turn out to be as good. On a rainy day in the future, you must save money. Like during COVID, thank you very much. By the way, understand, may I tell you a story? I understand many Ugandans, especially in towns, they have now learned, they have learned. I got a delegation recently to come and see me, say, the minister, we have learned, we have not learned how to save money. Many people suffered. Yet they had money before, but they decided to spend it. If you are investing in it, that's not a problem. But this consumption, yes, we must not starve ourselves, true. But you find, you ladies, now I will turn it to you. Why do you have 50 dresses in the wardrobe? For what? 3 years, she has never even put on one. I see it in my... I see it in my road home. 3 years, she has never put on that dress. Now, what is it for? Pair of shoes. She has 30 pairs of shoes. Ladies, you can dispute with me, but I can tell you I have seen these things, both in my own home and elsewhere. What for? 30 pair of shoes. You spend 6 months without even putting on one. Why don't you leave that money and go and save it? And it would produce more money for you, by the way. You buy a shoe, the shoe will begin even to deteriorate before you have put it on. So that's loss of money, please. You got this. This will also spur economic development by increasing the ratio of saving to GDP, which is critical for the economic development of Uganda. I've just said that one. Uganda's ratio of saving to GDP now stands at 21.2%. It stood at 21.2% in 2019. So the bill will enable us increase this ratio. This is what I would call half-forced savings. I pledge my support to ensuring this bill will be passed. That one I can give you my assurance. And as I told you, from here I'm going to talk to the speaker, and we iron up all these things. We hope we can pass this bill tomorrow, Tuesday. Economies world over have been affected by the effects of the COVID pandemic lockdown, including our own country for sure. The government did its best to contain the pandemic, and as a result, Uganda has been named amongst the top 10 countries globally who have contained the virus. However, our economy did not escape the effects of the lockdown. Matia, don't fear. I had a professor at university. He was an American, and say, "Hey, young man, learn how to turn a disadvantage into an advantage." That was his preaching to us. As we say in English, for every cloud there is a silver lining. COVID has come with negative side, but also positive side. It has opened us, some of us, our eyes. And you will continue to hear and see. We are now putting our foot to limit as much as possible anything Uganda can produce, not to import it. We want import, what there is, our terminology is import substitution, export promotion. It has opened our eyes. You'll hear in the subsequent financial years. We want to produce as much as possible what we want in Uganda here in the country. and the potential is limitless. So we might have had that bad effect, but on the other hand, I think it is a blessing in disguise. The economy shrank by 3.2% in the second quarter of 2020, and economic growth rates have been adjusted now to 3.1% as opposed to the initial projections which had indicated 5.4% growth rate. But I want to assure again, because I'm in constant, almost daily touch with my statistics department, the economy is beginning to grow again. You remember the Kathingi, my Kathingi, remember? People started raiding, even saying, Kasaija, you were talking shit, you're talking nonsense. I can tell you the economy at that time was definitely going up. There's no question about that. If it hasn't been for COVID this year, this financial year running, we could have been at 6.5, 6.7, almost 7%. But as I said, despite this slowdown, the economy, because I am monitoring around the country, economic activities are moving. And you know what has happened? It has taught Ugandans to work like bees. People are working. If you go in the villages, people are working. And I'm sure that same spirit is going to be even transmitted into the rural areas to compensate for the suffering we went through. So, it's my view, everything being equal, your economy will begin moving at 7-8% growth per annum. Growth in various sectors were minimal, with the industry growing at a minimum of 2.3%, services at 3.6%, and agriculture at 4.2%. The economic slowdown had a ripple effect on the fund's business for sure, especially the contributions from members. Because if the members are not earning, definitely do not expect them to contribute. Now let me turn to the fund performance. I therefore want to congratulate the NSSF team upon delivering a remarkable performance for the financial year 2019-2020 in spite of the challenging macro environment. I've already started that one. I have noted that the fund's assets grew by 17% from 11.3 trillion to 13.28 trillion. Total revenue increased by 14.7 from 1,254 trillion in the financial year 2018-2019 to 1,400,047 in year 2019-2020. This is a very good news for the members, but also for the government of Uganda and the country. It's not good news for only members, but it's good news for all of us. Now I come to interest declaration. Having observed what we have observed, what I have said, therefore, as a result of this remarkable performance, in exercise of the powers conferred upon me by Section 35, Part 2 of the NSSF Act, I declare an interest of 10.75%. We should clap a little bit. Let me also join you. Let me also join you. Let me repeat. Let me repeat. I therefore declare an interest of 10.75 This translates into 1.14 trillion to be paid in the interest as interest to the members for the financial year 2019-2020. So I congratulate you, members. Your fund has now made you even richer. This new rate will be applied, and the resultant sums will be credited to the balance outstanding on the members' account as of 1st July 2019 in accordance with the provisions of our law. This rate I have declared today is higher than 6.2%, the 10-year average rate of inflation. In other words, for those of you, these terms may confuse you, your money has remained, not only has it remained in value the same, but it has done what? It has gone up. So in other words, you are richer than when this year started. So you should congratulate yourselves, members. The truth is that the fund has given the members real return, having eliminated the risk of erosion of the value of your savings as a result of inflation, and the savings have in real terms grown. Let me repeat this. The savings in real terms have grown. So if you, just give you an example, if your your account, you had 10 million shillings, 10 million shillings 2 years ago could buy two pikipikis. Now, with this additional increase in your account, you can now afford to buy, assuming the prices have not changed, you can now buy two pikipikis, maybe and a quarter. So literally what it means is your wealth now has increased by a quarter of what you have in the fund. I would like to applaud the board and the management for ensuring that members' savings are preserved. I know many of you may not be economists. Inflation, you know the one thing the inflation does. Inflation means the prices moving from going up. It reduces, inflation reduces your value, the value of your money. Something you are supposed to have bought, say, 10,000. If inflation is moving, maybe shall we say 20%, at the end of the year, you will need 12,000 shillings in order to buy the same item. Now, what the fund is doing, because inflation will always be there, a bit of inflation. What this fund now, the system is, if the value of your 10 shillings, you would buy your fund in value, in terms of purchasing value, it would be 8,000 shillings. But now, instead of being 8,000 shillings, actually now, it has moved to 12,000 shillings. You should explain these things to those people who are not having economics in their hands. Explain what does it mean, my money. I think you should really write an article on this so that the members understand what does it mean when you say that this year my money has grown in value. By giving examples, the purchasing parity, the whatnot, on that kind of thing. Now, I wanted to say bye-bye to you all because I have to go. But let me repeat, Mr. MD and your staff and the members of the board, thank you very much for your job well done. Keep it going like that. We hope that this next year, we should be talking even a better language than we are talking today. We believe COVID is here. It's going to be here to stay for some time. We have to get used to it like we have been used to other diseases. What we need to do is to avoid it. And that's my last word. You want to use this opportunity. The medicine we have now for COVID is to avoid it. Avoid it. And the Minister of Health, the President they have told us how to avoid it. This thing here. It is not just maridadi to pretend or whatnot. This thing here. Social distancing. Wash your hands. Don't allow Tom and Dick and Harry to come to your house. Don't go in crowded places. Avoid as much as being close to people you are not sure about. Even among your own people. Because I will tell you a case, but I will not mention the name. If they are not living with you, be careful with them. Don't get very close to them. I have a friend of mine who died barely 2 weeks ago of this disease. He was an old man, good friend of mine. Who infected him? His daughters, his children. The children live in a different side of the town, so they come to such daddy. And you know when the children come at home, how we hug them. And the man got the disease. Good enough, he knew. But he remained stubborn. The children said, no, Daddy, let's take you. So please, the slightest moment you feel unwell, go for a test. Me, as your Minister for Finance in Bonambaga, I want all of you alive. That's how I can run this economy effectively. I can't run an economy on dead bodies. I can't. So please be careful, including your relatives, especially when you are not staying with them. Now, we are working hard. I wish I could have every Ugandan tested, but they are very expensive. That testing costs $60 something, just one single test. We ministers, in order to access State House now, you have to test every 2 weeks. That is $60 gone. Let's encourage our scientists. As I said, this disease is with us. I don't see it quickly disappearing. We are waiting for two things. To live with it a little bit more assured. A vaccine. And I'm telling you, our scientists are working. And also in the outside world. I have given them all the money they need to develop a vaccine. So that when it's like measles, you remember the measles of children? We get pricked, we used to be get pricked. And as they are pricked now, if we can get a vaccine. In the absence of a vaccine, a cure that will be able to be accessed by every Ugandan. That also our scientists are working on. So let's pray, those of us who believe in God, that through the Almighty God's grace, these scientists will be able to discover a cure and a vaccine. Then we can live with it. Those who are careless will die, as you know. Aren't we living with HIV? HIV is still very much around. You don't know that? Do you know that it is still around? Do you know? You don't seem to say. If you are saying it's not around, you go and do funny things. It's around. Those who are careful, who listen and are careful, we are still breathing. Those who are careless and don't want to listen, they are gone. I'm not frightening you, but I'm telling you the real truth. And me, I like truth. So this COVID will live with us. The way I'm looking at it, I'm not a scientist, but I'm just using interpolation and world trends of other diseases. It will live with us. But the most important thing is how do we control its effect on the population? Cure or vaccine. And the world continues, like it has continued with other similar pandemics. This is not the first pandemic. So feel confident, feel firm. In the coming year, let's all put our gears together to prevent falling sick. We work hard, generate more revenue. When you generate more incomes, when you generate more incomes, your Minister of Finance here will get more revenue, more projects to make the lives of Ugandans comfortable. And we die when we are 80, 900 years. May God bless you.